Hey, Tony. First, a long story, a thank you, then a question. My journey started almost 10 years ago. I had a massive panic attack, and I thought it was a heart attack in my early 20s. I wasn't active. I was eating a bag of chips every day, drinking 2 liters of soda pop every day, and was almost 250 pounds.
Wow.
I started out just walking, and then after a few months, I began running. This caused my joints to be really sore. So I searched out for some yoga and came across P90X yoga, and I haven't looked back since. Over the past...
He should probably talk to them.
I know, I was
should
just
get together.
thinking about that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize these two were on the same week.
Hook them guys up on a phone call.
Over the past 3-ish years, I've had 3 back injuries that caused me to not be able to move. Oh, I can relate to that.
I know that deal.
I've never gotten an x-ray, but it all feels muscle related. I also have extreme tightness in my thighs and hips, as well as weak low back and glutes, which makes me think it's my psoas muscle. I added your one-on-one workouts, button belly, and Pilates from X3 to my X2 calendar. Does this sound good? And how would you suggest to prevent this from happening again? I love you, and thanks again for everything.
It's an interesting story and question because, here he is, somebody who's doing P90X, and he's still got all this tightness and back issues, but he has injuries. So I don't know what the source of those injuries are. And I don't want to give you the patent answer, but it might not just be muscular. It might be something other than that. You might have some bulging discs or some issues, because here's the thing about bulging discs, and the same thing with Shauna. Sometimes for you, it's hard to discern one from the other. You can't tell if it's muscular.
What happens is, with a bulging disc, if the disc is bulging and it's pushing against your spinal cord, your body immediately knows that's a vulnerability. So when that starts to get irritated and inflamed, that nerve gets inflamed, immediately your muscles will lock up and tighten and they'll go into spasm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's...
To protect that area.
Exactly. To protect you from doing any more harm to what it thinks could be, potential paralysis if it was to get really bad.
Yeah, but the human body's kind of amazing like that.
It
So
is.
here's something that's going wrong, and other parts of the body around it, will throw some pain at you, inflammation at you to say, no, we don't want you doing
We don't
anything.
like that.
You know what I mean? So, it might not be bad to go see an orthopedic person and maybe get an MRI, get an X-ray.
Somebody who specializes in that.
In that kind of thing. Because, sitting here in a chair, not really knowing you, seeing your range of motion, it's a and we were wondering whether we should answer this question because, I want to be able to give you answers. And sometimes the answer is you have to go to a new source.
Mm-hmm.
And, what I can tell you though is there are things that you can do with foam rolling. You can do, getting in an Epsom salt bath, sometimes getting in an ice bath. This is all inflammation. But if a disc is someplace where it's not supposed to be, all the foam rolling in the world, all the ice baths, all the the infrared saunas, whatever else, just won't be enough. So we've got a great physical therapist, this gal Holly that we see here in town. And ask around. I don't know if you're in a big city or small, and especially with the pandemic, a lot of people aren't operating right now. But see if you can find somebody who can at least feel around back there to see what's going on, and then maybe you need to go see a orthopedic person who can set you up with with X-ray or.
And I hate to say it, this could end up being a really long journey, because if it's not a disc issue and if it's not something like that, and foam rolling maybe helps once in a while, but it's not the answer. You might also have to look into inflammation, and if there's something you're eating or drinking or doing that's causing inflammation. So, but I will say, be persistent, because it took
You
me
have been. She's been
8 years of trying to find the right people and the right combination of things, and it's night and day now from where I started.
And the last thing I want to say that might help you as well is there's a likelihood that you have some asymmetry in your body, right? So you have your anterior chain and your posterior chain, the back side and the front side, right? So, you need balance front to back, especially as you get older. I mean, when you're younger, you can get away with imbalances, right? Because you're young. But as you get older, it reminds you that, maybe your psoas is out of whack, your IT band is too tight, or your hip flexors are part of the problem, or you don't have enough strength and muscularity in your glutes, or maybe your low back is vulnerable because it's weaker than your thoracic part of your back. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why. I mean, when she goes to see Holly, when I go to see Holly, she gives us these rehab exercises with bands and all kinds of different things so that we can get that get more symmetry in our whole body, so that if we just turn funny, our back's not going to go
And to
out.
get the right muscles firing. Turns out my knee problems were because my glutes and my hamstrings weren't firing at the proper times when I was doing certain exercises, which was putting too much load on my knee. So.
And you know what we should do? Let's do this.
We should get Holly.
No, we should get Holly to fly in and come see you. We're gonna hook you up maybe with an interview with Steve Holmson, our friend Steve Holmson.
Great idea.
Who is just he can get people out of pain, and that's what he does. And I think even over a Zoom call, you can do that. So we'll try to do that for you. Steve's great. He's been here. He spoke at Paragon last time. He's amazing.
Yes, definitely.
All right.
Okay.
Hello, it's Tony Horton. How are you? I'm glad that you've really enjoyed this interview. I can tell because you're watching it, because I can see you. Anyway, since you're here, I know you're really gonna fall madly in love with this next one. I mean, I'm talking about knowledge consumed by you. All you gotta do is go right over there.